Since you are always listening to others, and since these others are trying to make you listen to them, you might as well listen to me, because I don't make you listen to me. I don't even want you to listen to me. I want you to listen to yourself. I want you to speak with yourself. And yet, if you happen to be listening to me, you will understand something that you will never be able to understand if you keep listening to other people who make you listen to them. Yeah. All right, let's go for a walk and see what we can say. And I say we because you and I are not very different. As a matter of fact, I talk in such a way that you are actually me. That may sound strange in the beginning. In the beginning you have a sense of resistance against that. You kind of reject it and you want to say like, what is this guy talking about? Why should I listen to him? Well, very good. Why should you listen to me? That's exactly what I'm talking about. You should be listening to yourself. And you should listen to me, obviously, only in the same way as you would be listening to yourself. So, I am talking with you and whoever you are, whoever I imagine you to be, whoever I describe you to be, is just what I do. Yeah? And so whoever I perceive you to be, even if I am with you, yeah, because right now I'm just here by myself. Yeah, do you see what a nice sky? Beautiful clouds. Yeah. But yeah, you're not here. You're only here because I refer to you. I'm here by myself. And my references to you are all about me. I'm speaking with myself. And if you were to listen to this, if you were to really listen to this, you would hear what it is like to talk with yourself. And that's what I want you to do. That's what embodied language is. And without that, there is no embodied language. Yeah. And this is why there isn't any embodied language, because nobody's doing that. Everybody is busy trying to get other people to listen to them. Everybody's busy listening to other people. But nobody is speaking with themselves. Nobody is, listening to themselves. So, this is the path. No, there is no path. Speaking and listening is not a path. And whatever you have in the past perceived as some kind of path that you were on, it will completely become meaningless once you start to speak and listen. Once you begin to recognize like, wow, I was never listening to myself while I was speaking. And my speaking and my listening, they were disjointed. They were not coming together. They were not in tune with each other, yeah? I mean, I listen to myself while I speak. I have embodied language, but you don't. You can't. As of yet, you can't have embodied language. And I'm saying this very emphatically because you can only have embodied language once you have acknowledged that this other way of talking that you have been having, this what I call disembodied language, in which you do not listen to yourself, in which you listen to others, in which you try to make other people listen to you, that disembodied language has to stop. And it is only going to be stopped by you. I'm not going to stop it. Nobody's going to stop it for you. Yeah. So I'm not interested in stopping your disembodied language. Don't get me wrong. You know, there was a time that I sort of took it on me to be busy with that because I felt like I had something to teach or I had something to convey to others. But no, that time is past now, and I'm only talking with myself. and I was, of course, already talking with myself, but I had to say it to clarify it and to sort of get out of it. And yeah, these things, they may take some time, or they may take as long as you need to make it go away. We're all, regardless of who we are, regardless of how supposedly intelligent or knowledgeable we are or successful, regardless of how important we are or how troubled we are, because that is, of course, another big stand in the way that you feel like you're not worthy or you're not good enough. Regardless of who you are, nobody is doing what I'm doing. Nobody is speaking with him or herself and listening to him or herself. And why is that? Well, as I was saying, you cannot have what I have unless you begin to acknowledge, like, oh my goodness, I keep having disembodied language. I keep involuntarily engaging in disembodied language. Disembodied language, yeah. You keep forgetting to listen to yourself. You keep being busy with others as if these others are real, yeah? You keep being busy with your environment as if your environment is real. But once you turn to yourself in terms of speaking with yourself, verbally, overtly, yeah, you say it out loud, you hear it, you hear yourself speak, and of course initially it's kind of odd to do this. It's kind of like, yeah, where am I going with that? Well, that's a good question. Just tell yourself, where are you going with this? And what are you experiencing with this? And what does it mean to you? And why do you even want to do something like this? Exactly. That's what you want to talk about. And so when you begin to do that, you cannot miss it. That you keep being busy with your environment. You keep being busy with others. You keep being busy with, wanting to be understood, trying to reach others. You keep being busy with conflicts that have occurred and that are still occurring. You keep repeating all kinds of things. And so, in embodied language, you're not repeating anything. You're free. And so you keep talking and you realize, like, wow, I can just slide out of my old conditioning just like that. And of course you can. But whether you're going to do it, whether you're going to hear yourself say that, it all depends on you whether you're going to do that. And yeah, you can maybe do it once, you can maybe do it twice, or you can maybe do it for some time, and then you stop again. And then, you forget again, and then your old history of conditioning with disembodied language overtakes you again. And then, are you going to continue doing this or not? You may have done it a little bit, and then what? You need to continue with it. If you don't continue with it, it's not going to stick. You're going to forget about it. You're going to give up on it. You're going to completely fall back again into your old conditioning history. You're going to continue to do what you've always done. And so, even though people, of course, have tried this more or less, people have sort of gotten a sense that there is such a thing as being yourself, being authentic, being truthful, But nobody has actually addressed the importance of speaking and listening at the exact same rate. Yeah. So you speak and you listen, and the two are together, are connected. And yeah, you can say the speaker is the listener, but there is no speaker who speaks. There is no listener who listens. So there is no speaker who is the listener. Yeah. There's only speaking and listening. And if you do not speak, if you do not listen, there's nothing to listen. Yeah. If you do not speak, there's nothing to listen. Yeah. That's simple, right? So what you have perceived as inner language, yeah, your mind, you're talking with yourself in your head, it just never existed. Yeah. And yeah, you may say, oh, but Maximus, haven't you said this enough now? And you've been saying this so often, and don't you ever get tired of saying that? No, I don't get tired of saying that. And you wouldn't get tired of saying that either, because it is the truth. And we will never get tired of saying the truth. Yeah? Of course, I do not need to tell you that this here, that I'm walking with my bicycle in my hand here, I do not need to tell you that this is the bicycle, yeah? And here, this here is my hand, yeah? And you can say, yeah, my hand is the truth, my bicycle is the truth. No, there's no need for that, because we all know what a bicycle is, and we all know what a hand is. There's no conflict about that, okay? We have no problem with that. And you know what your car keys are and all that kind of stuff, yeah? So there are things that we say which do not create any problem, yeah? But there are many things that create a problem. And why do these things that we say create a problem? Well, these things are personal. Oh yeah, okay. And they have to do with our feelings. Oh yeah. Oh, so now we're going into explaining to ourselves what we feel and what we experience. Yeah. And yeah, if we do not get to it, if we do not have time for it, if we are continuously busy with all kinds of other things which are presumably so important, right? So incredibly important that we never get to actually putting words to what we experience, to who we are, to talking with ourselves, checking in and saying like, hey, wait, I am who I am, and I have my own language, I have my own way of expressing myself. And unless I hear that, unless I acknowledge that, unless I experience what I am saying, yeah, because that's what we are talking about, what I'm saying doesn't make any sense. So the fact that our language can match our experience, yeah, that is of course, or that our language can match our reality, yeah. And then there is of course the reality which we create with our language. Is that the reality we want to live in? Is that the reality that we like? And there is the reality that is without language. The reality which is kind of waiting for us to finally acquire the right language. Yeah, all that is part of this. And then there is your individually lived experience. Yeah, that is of course also true, because yeah, your experience is your experience. You are the only one. You are the only individual who perceives things this way, who feels these things way, and who experiences what you experience. And yeah, you can say that other people have a similar experience, and that's all true, perhaps, because we all experience sadness or anger. Or we all experience a sense of confusion or conflict. and trouble and dreadfulness and a sense of emptiness. We all do that, right? But then there is, of course, how you deal with that and how you express that or not, yeah? Because with your disembodied language, yeah, your way of talking in which you impress others, right? Oh yeah, you try to let other people know what it is that you are experiencing. You want to share yourself. You are so you're so convinced that you're right that other people should listen to you, yeah, and your views or your morals, your ideas, your experiences. Presumably, these are not even your experiences. Your pretensions, yeah. Your pretensions are more important than anybody else. And that's why you force yourself on others, right? That's why you make others listen. That's why you demand their attention with your usual way of talking. But in embodied language, you don't do any of that. You're just by yourself, like I am here. And you're just walking and talking. You're just enjoying yourself because your language is only now, only in such a way, your language is going to be able to fit with your experience. Because, you have to come down from your high horse. Yeah, we call that our ego. We call that our power trip, or whatever you call it. I don't care. But we also call it our unconscious. No, it is how you use your language. And your language is not inner, no, your language is always overt. So whatever you say, you can hear how nasty you sound. Whatever you say, you can hear how stressful you sound and how frustrated you sound and how troubled you sound and how irritated you sound. So and that's your disembodied language, exactly. Yeah, your disembodied language is all about these negative emotions, these negative feelings, these negative experiences. Your life is just one struggle, one big conflict. So, all right. And is that the reality you like to live in? Because that's what you do with your language, yeah? And you may not do this voluntarily, you may not do this knowingly. It's only when you begin to talk about it that you begin to realize, like, what the heck? Why am I doing this? I don't even want to do this, but it just happens. Your language just happens to you, presumably. Of course it doesn't, yeah? You are in charge of your language when you listen to yourself. But it seems as if you are not in charge of your language, as if language happens to you as thoughts in your brain, yeah, in your mind. You have all these thoughts which keep on going on and on and on. And you have no control over that, no. And you're just ruminating and worrying and you're stressing. But you're not talking with yourself and you're not listening to yourself. When you do that, when you express what you presumably think, you are not expressing inner language into the outer world. No, that is just a fantasy that we keep having, that there is inner language which becomes outward. There's no such thing. There is only overt language. So there's only the language that you have, that you can produce, that your conditioning history has resulted in your verbal repertoire to say things the way only you can say it. And that is who you are. That is the language that you have acquired. And there's no other language for you to have access to. And of course that deals also with the fact that you speak English or German or the language that you grew up with, the language that you have learned maybe while you were in school or maybe you have acquired a second language or even a couple of languages. You have been exposed to these languages, you have read books, you have immersed yourself in these different environments where you were yeah, affected by these different sounds. That's how you have learned to speak Japanese or something like that, yeah. But the thing here is, there's never been any inner language. You were exposed to these books, you read those books, you studied those books, you listened to these audio tapes, you talked with these people, and that's how you acquired that language. There's no inner language, yeah? So let's make this very clear, just to make a point. In England, yeah, people they speak English, yeah, and they hear English language, and when you write it, you write the English words, and you read English words, yeah. But there's no English language inside your brain. And likewise in Russia, yeah, in Russia people speak Russian, hear Russian, write Russian, and read Russian. But there is no Russian language in our brain. There's no Russian inner language. There's no English inner language. There's only overt Russian and overt English. And so there's also only overt embodied language, yeah, what I'm having. And there's only overt disembodied language, what everybody else is having. Yeah. And so overt disembodied language is everywhere. And overt embodied language, I seem to be the only one who talks about it. Yeah? But that's because I talk with myself. I listen to myself. And it is the only way to acquire embodied language and to maintain it, to continue with it. And when I talk with you, I talk with myself. Yeah? When I talk with the world, I talk with my perception of the world, my construction of the world, my description of the world, my experience of the world. I always talk about my own experience, no matter what. Yeah, and yeah, I neurally behave that reality, and I verbally express that reality, and why do I continue with that? Well, because I feel happy with that. And not only that, my ongoing embodied language is, of course, my language enlightenment. Yeah. So it is my language enlightenment, my ongoing embodied language, which expresses my individually lived experience perfectly. Yeah. Effortlessly. And yeah, I have discovered this, and I don't want to go on with anything else. I've been busy with that other stuff long enough. And so, yeah, now I am like this. And if you want to join me, you will have to do more or less what I'm doing. And yeah, maybe this video will stimulate you to do so.